Welcome to another round of the Emerge Hot Seat. This time we've got Layman Pascal. Layman Pascal is a spiritual practitioner, theorist, intercommunity facilitator, aka the meta modern shaman. Check out his new course on parallax, where he discusses masculine and feminine and how technology affects that. Layman, are you ready?
So ready.
Yeah,
I've never been more ready for anything. I feel like this is my destiny, Daniel.
Oh, wow. That's too ready. Like, bump it down a little bit. All right. We got four questions for you. We got four questions for you. Question the first. What are you bringing to Emerge?
What am I bringing to Emerge? I think the most basic thing that I have been bringing to Emerge is sort of just the concept. Brandon Norgard and I had this discussion in Austin that there maybe could be an Emerge Toronto, and I spent a bunch of months being the guy saying, just mentioning it all the time, saying that this could happen. So one of the things I'm bringing in is just like the original flame.
Oh, wow. So like this whole thing is your idea / fault.
Fault. Yeah, maybe my fault. I'm also going to be, my main focus is going to be on sort of subtle energy, consciousness, interpersonal resonance kind of elements to it. I'll be very much interested in the general structure. I want to cultivate and garden everything, but I'm going to be really attentive to what I see as like a core mycelial network of special facilitators at the heart of this event. So I'm going to be bringing in a special attentiveness to that, as well as right now I'm working on the invite committee and probably on the public messaging committee because I can write and talk and have a good sense of a lot of the people in the field and probably likable enough that if I tell people they're not coming, they won't hate me that much.
Okay, I gotta ask, since we're going for the mycelial network, the garden, when we're growing a garden, we've got to like keep some things out. We've got to cultivate the right environment for that garden to grow. What doesn't belong at Emerge?
Two things jump out at me right away, maybe three, and they all go back to sort of the experience of Emerge Austin and what it tried to do, what it sort of did well, what it didn't do well. I think one of the things it tried to do was to not sort of put the usual suspects, the most famous people up on the stage and have them give lectures to everyone else. That's a danger. We still face that danger. We don't want people to come in and be sort of big names that take over the space. We want everybody to be participating and moving and alive in the garden. So we don't want anyone to dominate or be like over platformed. I think one thing you want to keep out of the garden is the feeling of a conference, like the very format of a conference. This idea that you're just going to be sitting and listening to a bunch of people tell you a bunch of admittedly interesting and fascinating and potentially world-saving ideas, but there's no liveliness to that. I want to keep out anything that sounds good but doesn't actually have any vitality in it. And then the other thing would be just a kind of narcissism. You know, the last event's theme was naming the field, and I want this event to be grounding the field because naming it is a little bit premature. There's a bit of navel gazing involved, and let's get together and ask ourselves what it is that we're all doing when we get together. I mean, some of that is necessary in order to enliven what's shared among us, but I think there are other ways to enact it, to be resonant, to ground ourselves, to be alive, to do things together, projects, all kinds of things like that, that aren't just a kind of collective duplication of mental self-awareness. I want to keep that out.
That sounds like much needed in this space. What does it take to make you feel at home? What would you like there to be in part of the Merge so you could feel at home?
Yeah, you know, I stayed with these guys at a ranch outside Austin, and they asked me what they could provide. I said whiskey and exotic cheeses. And frankly, that does help me to have those things. But also like little comfortable nooks where I can get away and go and be in my own space and feel comfortable and check on the rest of my life. The ability to come and go out of the energy of the field. Partly because everybody, I think, needs that in order to recharge. But sensitive people, in particular, sensitive people can burn themselves out, and then there's a recovery phase, and that becomes inefficient. So I want myself and everybody else to be able to safely go through this and function as well as they can by stepping aside when they need to, and to have the space to do that and kind of feel like there's a little home for them somewhere.
I love that. That like ties right into the grounding, got like the physical sensations, and then you got the like actual practical moving in and out. Because like you're not really at home if you can't move around.
Right, I
Elliot,
gotta
last
ask,
question.
what is your favorite tree?
Yeah, I grew up on this island that was basically a forest. Um, and most were like hemlocks, and usually between like 20 to 40-year-old hemlocks, like sturdy enough you could climb them. But unlike the cedars, the hemlocks have a little bit more sway, especially when they're young. What I used to really like to do is you find a nice section of young hemlocks, you go up one, and you see how many you can travel across without ever having to come to the ground. And they're just young enough and flexible enough that they bend so you can sway over the next one. They have these beautiful flat needles, so when you're a kid you can kind of like go out on them and they become like little beds in the air. You creep your way out and they smell amazing. I used to crush them and put them in my pockets sometimes on the way to school. And fantastic. Yeah, hemlocks, young hemlock trees, those are my favorite.
Wow. That's a lot. I'm gonna leave it to the audience to unpack that one. Last one. We got 20 seconds left. Any last says?
Anything to the people of Emerge? See you at Emerge.
Anything else you want to shove into the video
Yeah,
before
let's make a safe shockwave happen. Let's show the field the next level of what it can do.
fuck yeah.